And at this point, she thinks that it's actually someone. So she's like a little freaked out. And she checks, but sure enough, there was no one. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I hope you stay because it's pretty fun in here, at least I think so. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm glad to see you again. I'm glad you're here again. So today we're going to be diving into another story for the 31-day series of Ghosts Glam, where basically we do our makeup together and I share with you a paranormal, scary, real life ghost story, weird encounter kind of thing that I've experienced. And so we are on day, I think, 5 today. And first things first, I kind of lied to you guys about this being the last story from that house that we've been talking about for the past 30 days or 2 days. And it's actually not the last one. There is this one and one more. And then also I told you that from yesterday forward, it was going to be stories from when I was like 14 up, I think I said. But actually there's a couple more stories that go back to earlier in my life. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little heads up. Also, my puppy is in here, so if you see her, she's right behind me. She decided to chill here today. So I hope that this doesn't stop recording because it stopped recording a little bit ago. So we had to restart. But with that said, let's just dive into it. As we were talking in the other stories in the past 2 days, this house was weird. There was like this entity. Like I said, I believe it's shadow people. But then things just continue to get a little bit more weird. And the thing with this house is that no one ever felt threatened in there. It was just like weird shit that would happen. That was like, well, am I imagining it? Like, not that big of a deal. So, I'm the one seeing the little peeking ghosty man dude in my mom's room. But what's also happening is that my mom would stay up working because, like I told you guys in one of the previous videos, that she ran her own business from home at the time, and she would stay up, planning the events, whatever. This was the first time that this happened. She was just hanging out in the kitchen. She was using the dining table for some of her work, and the door to the backyard is like right next to the dining room, and she was just there. And right at 3 a.m. she hears a knock. Clear as day. Is that the saying? Clear as day? I don't know. But she hears a knock on the glass window because it's one of those sliding glass doors. And she kind of like looks up and she says she ignored it. She was just like, not gonna feed into that. I don't know. She continues to do her work and then she hears it again. And at this point she thinks that it's actually someone. So she's like a little freaked out and she checks, but sure enough, there was no one. And so she continues doing what she does, but then realizes it's 3 a.m. and like 3 a.m. is supposed to be the witching hour, where the veil to the spirit world is the thinnest. I don't know why, but that is what people say. And so she was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go to bed. So she goes to bed. And I think this happened several times. But we're not here to talk about my mom. We're here to talk about a situation that happened to me. And so that happened when I was younger. And then one time, I was probably around, I want to say like 14. I think I was already in high school. So I'm just hanging out, and my grandma was supposed to come visit us that day. I was like in my room by myself, and my grandma was supposed to come visit us that day, but she hadn't arrived yet, and it was already like late at night. So she was just not gonna come that day. She was just gonna come over the following day. But I didn't even think about that. I was just like, okay, like grandma's supposed to come over today. I know it's late, but whatever. I'm just hanging out, doing what, 14-year-olds do, scrolling on my phone. So I was just on there texting, probably, I don't know, doing whatever, watching YouTube on my desktop. And then all of a sudden, I hear a knock on my window. But it was like, it wasn't like it was like on glass. I have glass in front of me, so let me try to recreate it. It was like if your nail was hitting glass. I was like, what the hell is that? But like my first thought was, oh my god, my grandma's here. But I like go to look out, but right before I look out, I was like, wait, it is like 2 a.m. Like, why would my grandma be arriving at 2 a.m? Why would she be knocking on my window? Like, that makes no sense. And so I, like, instead of checking, I go to my mom's room, and I was like, hey mom, I think grandma's knocking. Like, I think grandma's here. And she looks at me, like, she wakes up and she looks at me like, girl, it's 2 a.m. What are you talking about? And so I was like, you're right. Like, girl, what the hell? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I heard a knock. And so my mom was like, oh, like, that's weird. And she walked with me to my room. My whole ass 14-year-old being like, mom, I'm scared. I didn't say that, but she wanted to see what the knocking was. So she went and looked, and there was nothing. But as we turn to walk away, or she turns to walk away, I'm laying in my bed at this point, we hear the knock again. At this point, she's like, what the fuck? And like, I'm pretty sure she was freaked out, but she was just like, oh, like, it's just a tree outside. Girl, what do you mean it's a tree? And she was like, yeah, it's like the tree branch. It's fine. Like, just go to sleep. It's late. All this stuff. But like, there is a tree outside my window, but the branches aren't long enough to go hit my window. And also, a tree branch sounds very different than a nail going like, like, it just, no. It was definitely not the tree. I don't care what my mom said. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So I go to bed that day. And I'm just like minding my own business. But, that knock happened a couple times. And I was always super, super late at night. And then I remember one time I was talking to one of my cousins about it. And she literally was like, oh yeah, like, witches do that. And I was like, girl, what the f do you mean? And she was like, yeah, like, witches will come late at night, anywhere between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. and tap on your window to be let in. And if you say, like, who is it? Or if you say, come in, or if you acknowledge them in any way vocally, they will come into your home. Like, that is how you invite them in. And I was like, that is so weird. Like, that is so creepy. I don't like that. So I was like, okay, whatever, it's witches. Because I really could not figure out another explanation for it. I guess the tree could have been one, but I don't know. So it keeps happening a couple days after this conversation with my prima, and I'm just like, that's really weird. Why does this keep happening? It was getting to the point where, like, I was expecting it. I was expecting a knock every single night. And so one of those days, I was really freaked out because I was watching some paranormal videos on YouTube and witches. I was just freaking myself out for no reason. And I heard it. I heard it again. And I really didn't want to deal with it. So I literally said out loud, like, I said it in Spanish. I was like, you're not welcomed here. No eres bienvenida. Like, leave. This is not your home. I'm not gonna let you in. All this stuff. And tell me why that was the last time I heard the knock on that door ever again. I told it it's not welcomed, and now we're not hearing anything again. I don't know, but I don't think a tree would listen like that. Right? Like, if it was actually the tree, you think the tree was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not welcome in here. Like, no. So I feel like it was a witch tapping at my window. I don't know what homegirl wanted, but she was there. I want to say that was the last time I experienced a witch. But it's not, because again, if it was, then there would be no freaking story here. But in that house, I did experience one more encounter, which I guess, whatever. I'll just throw it in here because why not? But like, I remember when I would be laying in my mom's room, like something would pull my hair. This sounds so dumb, but something would pull my hair when I would be laying down from behind the bed. I don't know. I want to say that was like a little witch or something, but I really don't know about that one. But yeah, I do think the tapping of the window was a witch, and I feel like I told her she's not welcome, so she never came back. But I want to know your thoughts, just like with every other story. What do you think it was? Do you think it was a witch? Do you think it was something else? Do you think it was the tree like my mom claimed? I want to hear from you. And like I said, I am really, really aiming to hit 100 subscribers by the end of October. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to help me get there. Leave a like, comment on it with your thoughts. And yeah, I hope to see you here tomorrow for day 6 of the 31-day series. All right. Love you so much. Don't let witches in your house. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.